Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. You are welcome to the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook. My name is Precious Adadidiodu. TDS TV, or the Discovery Show, is a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora who are making significant impact in the area of academics, politics, religion, and the likes. And basically, we seek to mobilize the strength of each and every person that we interview so that together we can also impact the next generation or our generation to make the best out of the world. And so I want to say that I apologize profusely for our delay in transmission. And it's basically been technical hitches, which I take the absolute blame for, because I have had technical hitches. Our guests have been ready throughout, but we've had technical hitches. And so I apologize and I apologize and I apologize. That is what I would say. For anyone who knows us, you may know that both of us are people who really stick to time, but this is out of our hands, and we really apologize for that. Without wasting much time, I want to apologize to you again, our guest. Our guest is somebody who has been a friend, a personal friend for a little over 10 years, and he's one very loyal and faithful person I have known, a very trustworthy person. And without wasting much time, I guess it's Mr. Livingstone Aduse Poku, a PhD student at the University of Florida in the United States of America. Hi, Livingstone, you are welcome to the TDS TV.
Hello, thank you for the kind words and for the introduction. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all your viewers, wherever they are watching us from.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I can see Mr. Isaac Bamfo watching. Mr. Isaac Bamfo, regards to you, regards to MOB, Mrs. Bamfo, greetings and regards. Livingstone, we want to know who Livingstone is. Who is Livingstone? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Which schools did you attend? Do you have any childhood experiences, memorable ones, of course, you want to share with us in a short while?
Right, thank you very much. So I'm Livingstone Aduse Poku. I was born in Kumasi, specifically Krofrom. I come from a small village near Lake Bosomtwe. That is where I come from. The village is called Warakose. So I'm in a family of 6. My 2 parents, by God's grace, are alive, and they have 4 of us. I'm the second born. I have an elder brother, and there are 2 after me, 1 boy and 1 girl. So I started at Newman International School. That is where I had much of my primary and junior high school education, and I was fortunate to be admitted to Prempeh College. That was where I had my secondary school education. After Prempeh, I came to KNUST. And after KNUST, I came to the US, specifically Central Michigan University, for my MPH. And currently, I'm a PhD student studying epidemiology at University of Florida.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful journey so far. Thank you very much. I see David Ejapon. David, how are you? I hear in Bossman watching as well. A number of people, as and when they drop their comments, I will actually acknowledge them. Thank you very much again. Sincere apologies again for the technical hitches, of which I take the sole blame. And I must say that, like I said, for those who have just joined us, the Discovery Show TDS TV is a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora who are making significant impact in the area of politics, religion, academia, and the likes. And this show is proudly produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opon. In fact, he's a very wonderful man, and he has really been the backbone for this whole thing. You can see my face, you cannot see him, but he has been doing everything. And I want to apologize to you again profusely for the delay in transmission due to technical hitches. So Livingstone, tell us, you went to Prempeh College, obviously an amount for. How was the transition from Prempeh College to KNUST? Did you meet your expectations whilst you were transitioning?
Right, that's a very good question. So when I was in Prempeh, obviously I was a very good student, very studious, I should say. So, you know, when it comes to an adolescent looking at what he or she wants to do much of this is depends on the information that a person is exposed to. So for me, it all depended on my parents and my friends majorly. So all my friends, I mean my social norm, wanted to read medicine. So obviously I also wanted to read medicine. So that was my expectation. Fortunately for me, I found myself in nursing and I did my best there. So that was how the transition was. So I would say I couldn't meet my expectation, but I met what I was supposed to meet.
That's a good one. I like the fact that you didn't meet your expectation, but you said fortunately. That's a good one. We might explore that later. Um, Now, because of time, because I mean, one of the most important things you want to talk about has to do with postgraduate education and scholarship opportunities. And because we've already taken so much time, we wouldn't want to delve so much into your life. But I mean, worth talking about. How did you decide, or when did you finally decide to transition from nursing into public health? And obviously, you are in the path of public health because you did your master's in public health. You are now into public health for your PhD. So, how did you decide, or when did you decide to transition between the two? And then also, I just want to find out, how do you integrate your nursing, or how do you situate your nursing background in the context of the public health you are pursuing?
Right. So I think that for the passion for public health, it came when I was having my public health internship at Kwaso. That is a suburb of Ejoso in the Ashanti region. So when I was there, I really enjoyed myself. I saw firsthand how the public health situation in Ghana was. And I mean, something lit up in me at that time, and I decided that no, this is something that I can take forward. So for the desire to study abroad, it has always been there, but I wasn't so sure about the path and even the course, the program, and even the school. So with time, I could figure all that out. That is a long story. But the bottom line is that I finally knew that I wanted to do public health. So I didn't know much about how to do it, but I knew that this was what I wanted to do. They say that wherever there is a will, there is a way. So some way, somehow, I was able to find my way, and I didn't have much of guidance, so I had to do a lot of reading and search to see how to transition from Ghana to the US and to do public health. So how I situate my nursing background with public health, that is quite easy because they are all in health. So I have the basic knowledge in health, and I have firsthand how the hospital experience is. Public health is mainly population. So I it's kind of a different ball game, but it's kind of similar because you are looking at things with a health spectacle, which I had a background in. So that was kind of easy for me. And in public health, you do things like rural health. And in Ghana, if you look at the situation, public health situation we have in Ghana, you can be able to look at it and able to figure out how things were and how to situate it in the public health arena. How I was able to transition, majorly I wrote the GRE, which I was told by a colleague of mine at work, and fortunately for me, I did quite well. So that was how I was able to do it. I used the GRE, my transcript, and fortunately for me, I got admitted by Central Michigan University. The thing is that when I got admitted, I wasn't fully funded. In fact, I came into the US on percent.
We will come there. It's one of the most important things we talk about. So hold on for now, whilst we talk about the other things, because we will come to fund and then you tell us how you got there, and then you can transition in there. I want to remind our viewers again that you are watching the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook and on YouTube. Kindly like, subscribe, and share our stream so that other people can watch it. And this is a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora who are excelling in area of academics, politics, religion, and the likes. And so basically we want to rise together, and that's why we try to bring these people here. Again, I want to apologize profusely for the delay in transmission due to technical hitches, and that is solely from my end, and I apologize with all due respect. And I mean, I'm happy to know that Livingstone has come this far, and I want to say that indeed it has been God who has done all these. We want to just take a short break, just about a minute, and then we'll come back and talk about funding, PhD opportunities, master's opportunities, and all that. And then we can delve into your PhD work, how that relate, or we can contextualize your work in the Ghanaian setting. So just a moment, whilst we thank God and we say that, of course, it's Ebenezer.
Sobra lumponi baye dindenara wenyi yenina remuso ma papiara yeridi efi nami wemu eti yebetwe beneza addresse enyanya wa ena beduni. Oh, Beneza, Nyanya, Wayena, Bo, Juni, Beneza, Nyame, Nado, Marapa. Oh, Beneza, Nyanya, Wayena, Bo, Juni, Beneza, Nyame, Nado, Marapa.
Of course, Ebenezer, that's how far the Lord has brought us. And this is just to celebrate Livingstone and any other person who is on this platform, irrespective of your level of progress. Ebenezer, this is how far the Lord has brought us. And we want to really, really be proud of ourselves wherever we are. Now, Livingstone, we want to delve into academia, funding, masters and PhD opportunities and all that. I must say there are a lot of people with great potentials out there, especially back home, but they do not have the right information and direction to know that, of course, there are a lot of opportunities that are out there. I and other people who are watching, like Karim Bosman, Achim, and all those here, during our time, we were privileged to have two of our lecturers who had gone through Commonwealth scholarship. And based on that, right from school, we knew that obviously there was something like that. And that is how we were able to go through that channel. A lot of people do not know all these. You are coming from the US perspective. Like you started earlier, how did you get a scholarship, or how did you get into the master's program and then transitioning into a PhD? Take us through, I mean, maybe within 10 minutes, the opportunities that in the US in terms of scholarships and master's and PhD.
Thank you so much. So there are over 1,000 graduate schools in the US. And I can say that all of them have some form of scholarship or funding, I should say. For me, when I was in Ghana, unfortunately, I didn't know about it. In fact, when I was applying for schools, I remember, because I didn't have any knowledge, one of the schools I applied was even straight an online school, and I didn't even know. So I got admitted and later realized that it was even online, and I didn't know. So I think that this is the advice I always give to people. If you want to be funded, if you want to school in the US, whether you want to have your master's or your PhD, the first thing you have to do is to have the right information. Now, I always tell people that if you want to be admitted and be funded, first study the graduate record examination called the GRE. Study and write it. If you study and write, from my experience, it doesn't really matter how much you get, I mean, the score you get, it puts you above somebody who has not done anything on that line. So that was what I did. I first wrote the GRE. Then with the GRE score, you add your transcripts together with a little bit of your work experience, which is not even needed when it comes to graduate school. You just need your transcript and your GRE, and you should be good. Now, from then, you have to know the program you want to do. Is it economics? Is it public health? Is it, name it, administration, engineering, medicine, whatever? Just go to the graduate schools that offer, so you can go graduate schools that offer, say, the course you want to do. So if it's public health, graduate schools that offer masters in public health in the US, and you'll get a number of schools popping up. Get somebody who knows a little bit about graduate schools. You can contact me if you want. I think after the whole thing, you share my email, and you can contact me through Facebook Messenger. I can help you sort out the schools that you would want. Now, take your time and read the graduate schools pages. Know the eligibility criteria and the admission requirements. If you get to know them, that is what will guide you as to which of the schools and the programs you can apply to. If you're applying for a master's program, you can go general. Research is not so much needed. You can go general, but it always helps if you know what you want to do, because you are going to write a statement of purpose. For me, what I did was that I didn't really know the specific research area I wanted to go into at that time. So I broadened my scope in the writing of my statement of purpose. If you are wondering how the statement of purpose is written, if you contact me, I can share a few tips and tricks with you, and I can even share mine with you just to serve as a template for you to write yours. Now, after you figure those things out, write a detailed email, and detailed is bolded and underlined here, to the professors. What I've seen over the years is that people just write maybe 5-sentence email and to the professors. I tell you, an average professor can receive like 100 to 200 emails a day. So you can imagine if the email is something that is not detailed, they just clear it off and they hardly read it. So you want to take your time, write a detailed message. If you want me to proofread it for you, I can proofread it for you and tell you what to add and what to take out. Now, as part of the email, attach your transcripts. So if you are applying for a master's program, you attach your undergraduate degree transcript and attach your GRE score. And if you are done with your statements of purpose, you can also attach your statements of purpose. So these three things should be attached. And if fortunately for you, you've published a paper, attach a copy of that paper or a link to that paper. If you do that, you are more likely to get a response from the professor. I tell you that if you get a response from the professor, you are about 90% likely to be admitted and funded than somebody who just threw in an application. So if you're able to do that, then the professor would then advise you to apply. And some professors even take the pain of guiding you as to how to apply. So let me use my junior brother, for example. My junior brother contacted the professor, and the professor read his statement of purpose even before he submitted to the graduate school. So if you're able to get that, it puts you a bar ahead of somebody who just threw in an application. So these are some of the things you can do. Now let me go specific on a PhD application. That is quite different from a master's application. For a PhD, a PhD is majorly,
just before
right.
Just before going there, I want us to remind our viewers that this is the Discovery Show TDS TV, a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora. So it could be people who are in school, but they are doing their best, like Livingstone, who is a PhD student, people in clinical practice, people in corporate business, anything at all, but they are really making impact. And we want to leverage on the positives and the gains they've made so that we can also rise together based on these strengths. Livingstone is taking us through some of the PhD opportunities, master's opportunities, the funding opportunities that exist in the United States of America. As he is going, please go ahead down your comments or just drop your comments. I'll read them for you. I'm also going to put some PhD opportunities in the comment section. These PhD opportunities I'm putting in here are for the United Kingdom, but not US, but just so that you can also surf them and explore them as he's talking. Of course, listen to him, but I'll drop some links as well so that you can explore. If it doesn't apply to you and you know anybody who needs these opportunities, please go ahead and forward it to them. So Livingstone, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So with PhD, so let me share a little bit about how I navigated through. So from Ghana, when I was coming to the US, I wasn't fully funded. It was a 50% scholarship, but I came anyways. Now, when I came during my first semester, because I knew that I wasn't fully funded and I needed to up my funding, I worked really hard. Fortunately for me, my hard work paid off, and the grace of God found me, and I was able to get fully funded after the first year. So my full funding for my master's was as a result of the work I put in my first semester. So sometimes I see students who get admitted to the US and they don't want to come because they are not fully funded. From my experience, if you are in that situation, come anyway. But if you come, work hard. If you work hard, your hard work will be rewarded and your funding may be up, like what happened in my situation. So after that, I kept working because I wanted to continue with a PhD. So whilst I was doing my master's, I had that at the back of my mind. I have to say here that one thing that helped me was that right from the start of my master's program, I knew what I wanted to do. So I wanted to have something to do with research in cancer. So whatever research work I did at my master's level, I channeled it towards cancer epidemiology. So if I'm given maybe a final project to do, I make sure that I do something on cancer. I used databases and data sets that are available to the public and tried and wrote papers out of them. So because of that, before I applied for a PhD, I had already published 2 papers and I had 4 other manuscripts that were in review. So because I was purposeful and intentional, I was able to channel my energy into what would make me get admitted into a PhD program. So that is a very good advice I want to give to everybody. If you want to be admitted into a PhD program, be specific in your research area. Be specific, go specific, and concentrate on it. So if it's diabetes, if it's whatever the case may be, maybe your background is in economics, but you want to have your research area in health economics. Make sure that at the master's level, whatever you are doing is health economics based. That really puts you higher than people that are in general application. Now, the next thing is that you have to make sure that at least you are preparing yourself for a PhD admission or a PhD application. In that, make sure that you are at least doing some form of research. Nowadays, there are a whole lot of data sets that are available to the public. You can get some of them, analyze them, try and write papers out of them. The professors who who PhD students work under are very interested in that, because PhD is a research degree, basically. So they want people who really have interest in research. So you'd want to do that. Now, apply early, and I can't say that. I can't stress that too much. Apply early. In the US, I can speak for US. In the US, most graduate schools open for 4 applications in either the middle of August or the beginning of September. So you make sure that you are applying around that time, and make sure that latest by the 1st of December, you are done with all your applications. If you are applying as an international student, because you will have to send some transcripts in, you would want to make sure that you are doing things ahead of time, because sometimes for our schools, our processes are a bit slow. So if you don't put in things at a faster pace, that may delay your application. So make sure that you are applying on time, and make sure that, so to the previous point I made, you've contacted the professor, and that. Now, what I did was that I applied very early. In fact, it was in the middle of my master's program. So I was close to a year into my master's program. I started applying. So immediately after a year into my program, I got admitted to some schools. Those times I got admitted to 4 schools. So I had to choose and pick which of them I would want to attend. And I think the reason was that, 1, I applied early, 2, I wrote the GRE, and 3, I had a specific research area, and above all, the grace of God was available. So please make sure that these things are evident in your application. If you apply early, you write your GRE, you've contacted the professor, your research is specific, then you stand a greater chance of getting admitted, and not just getting admitted, getting funded. In the US, the funding is graduate assistantship. So mostly the graduate students do either research or teach, or both. So the graduate student can either only teach, only conduct research, or do both. So for my position, I do both. I do both research and teaching. And they come with funding. So you'll be funded as you do that, and also you get a full or a partial tuition waiver dependent on your funding. So that's how the funding situation in the US is like. So you'll be paid, so money wouldn't be too much of a problem, and also your tuition will be taken care of. Anyways, the fees is majorly the tuition. If your tuition is taken care of, you should be good. That means in some situations, you wouldn't pay a penny to the school if you are fully funded. In other situations, you pay just something little to the school if you are fully funded. So it depends on the package of the funding.
Wow. Thank you so much, Livingstone. I mean, one thing he said was be purposeful and intentional. And for those of you who know how the publication goes, like, he did 2 publications while he was still a master's student. And before he completed, he had 4 more manuscripts under review. So that is 6. Definitely. I mean, if you're a PhD supervisor, you would definitely take this guy. Before COVID, we were doing pre-recorded sessions, but now we've decided to do Facebook Live. We might alter it as and when the situation demands, so that we can interact with you. You can ask your questions. I'm going to read your comment. I'm imploring you to also drop your comment. I'll read that to Livingstone where he needs to answer, and then he'll provide responses for that. I've dropped 2 links to the page. These links are for people especially who are in radiography and diagnostics and all that, and that is a PhD opportunity and scholarship. Please explore that. If you don't need it, you may want to forward it to. And so you may know somebody who has stayed in the UK and qualifies as a home student and all that. That is a fully funded PhD. The deadline is 27th of April. Please do well to get it to somebody who may benefit from that. Francis Ekoko, senior man, regards to you. I see Evangelist Justice de Graft Wilberforce. And then, yeah, quite a number of people. Senior man, Chris Maudela, regards to you. I'll be coming to you very soon. You'll be on this platform. He is a senior lecturer in South Africa, and he will be on this platform very soon. I see Mr. Joe Dia. I see Owusu and Samuel. I see people like Akosua Jenim Boateng. Akosua, regards to you. And yeah, as and when necessary, I'll do read the other comments you drop. But Livingstone, before we go ahead, we are excited with all that you've told us. I can see about one or two things. I mean, a lot of fans are coming through. This is Stone Days, I mean, from Jenny, who was your mate. And then some other comments as well. But I think there's one comment that came from someone regarding what you said. And it reads, it says, just a second. I think the question, I'm trying to locate where the question, I think it's gone up, but it had to do with I think he had not passed mathematics or something. I'm not too sure what it was. And was going to ask whether he'll make it. I'll find it and read it to you. But generally, do you have any particular direct guidance apart from what you said that you want to direct people to? Obviously, you've been generous and magnanimous enough to say that people should come to you or send you a message if they need any assistance. But is there any other thing you want to say to people, I mean, generally, regarding the PhD, the masters, before we move on to the next thing, please?
Right. So with the question you alluded to, I think what the person wanted to say was that she or she wrote GRE, but the quant score was not high enough.
Okay.
In my experience, if you write a GRE and the quant or the verbal is less than 150, then you should be thinking again. But if it's above, give it a try, apply anyways. If it's below 150, I advise that you set for it again, just to up it a bit. If you're able to hit the 150, that should be okay for most graduate schools. In some situations, though, even if you get less than 150, you still get a chance to do it. Now, on the opportunities, what I see most of the time is that people wait to see these published scholarships, and that mostly people follow those things to apply, especially for graduate schools. I think that it's good, but for me, it's not the ideal thing to do. The reason I say that is that for most published scholarships, sometimes you realize that the position is like for 3 people, and you get like 1,000 and something people applying for that position. That means that the probability of getting in is very slim. But if you do your due diligence and you get into the school and you see the funding or the funding opportunity on the graduate school page, that is a good place to look at it. So for those people in the public health field, maybe you can, people interested in the public health field or maybe studying in the US, have a list of schools that maybe later on after the interview I can share with you. You can post it on the TDS page, and people that follow the page can see it, and they can apply to those schools. Those schools, I made that list because there are schools that I know fund international students a lot. There are schools that are so much into diversity, so they fund a lot of international students, and I have the list, so I can share it after the interview so you can put it up for people to see.
Great. Be purposeful and intentional. Thanks for that. I mean, that is quite generous of you. And I want to encourage people. Usually the first step to every application seems a bit insurmountable, and it applies everywhere. I mean, for those of you who want to come to the UK, sometimes you want to write IELTS or IELTS and you find it very difficult, either for clinical practice or for academia. And some people usually may not be successful at first attempt and they give up. but you need to be purposeful and intentional. If it is GRE, you need to put in your best. You need to be purposeful and intentional. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And as Livingstone said, there are enormous opportunities that are out there, but usually it has to do with the grit, the ability to go for them. That is the problem. Explore, try your best, and link up with the right people. And sometimes, I mean, especially where we're coming from, when we are reaching out to people for help, we see it as a sign of weakness, but no, it's rather a sign of strength. It shows that you admit your limitations and you're asking for help. And obviously, if we stand on the shoulders of mighty men, we'll be able to see far. So please reach out to people who are in your field, who you think could help you. And I'm sure we'll all rise together. I remind you again that this is the Discovery Show, TDS TV, a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora who are making significant impact in the area of politics, religion, academia, and the likes. And so you see quite a lot of people coming onto this platform. Again, I want to apologize for the delay in our transmission purposely from my side, or especially from my side, because I had challenges with my gadgets and all that. So apologies. And Livingstone, having said all that, I just want us to drift a little bit. We might come back to the issue of funding and all that, especially whilst the questions are coming in. But I am very much aware that your research area actually centers on cancers, molecular and data science epidemiology. And I mean, from foreknowledge, I know that your research is somehow based on the US, system. However, I know you've done a bit of publication out there from the African and Ghanaian context, and I want to say that recently you did a publication titled, like you co-authored a paper of breast cancer in Ghana, a study of the characteristics of breast cancers reported nationally from 2018 to 2020. Another one was precision medicine for African breast cancer, bringing African breast cancer. You've done quite a number of them. I have done a bit of publications in cancers as well, because that forms part of my research interest as well. I'm trying to put this in perspective. You want to contextualize your experience, so far what you've done in the United States. What do you see to be the future of cancer management in our country, Ghana, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that Ghana it's doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, we have very great professionals who are doing the best that they can for the country. But I think as a nation, we've not focused on certain areas that we need to focus on. So with some of the papers you quoted, actually, that was as a result of an internship I did with Henry Ford, and I had a Ghanaian professor there who guided us to do those papers. So one thing that we realized was that there are some, most of the cancers we see in Ghana are those that are diagnosed at a very late stage. So sometimes you can sample like 1,000 cancer patients and you realize that most of them are maybe in stage 2 or stage 3, very late stage. So that makes management very difficult, and the prognosis do not end up well. When I talk about prognosis, whether the person recovers or maybe die as a result of it, or gets some form of complication as a result. Now, we lack national policies to control and treat cancer. I mean, we don't have a cancer control policy and treatment guideline, a recognized one. I mean, medical professionals do so well in Ghana to manage and treat cancers, but as a nation, we don't have those detailed things to structure the processes of cancer management. You know, the thing with cancers, and let me use, for example, a cancer like cervical cancer, it is very preventable. I mean, if you are able to diagnose it early, you can really help the patient. But what happens in our setting is that because we don't have a national cervical cancer screening program, we are not able to get to the patient early enough. So most of the screenings that are done in Ghana are what they call opportunistic. So a patient presents to the hospital and the medical doctor sees the patient and sees that, okay, this patient will need this at this time, and then try to help, because the patient is presenting some symptoms that tells the medical personnel that, okay, probably this person may be prone to cervical cancer. So by the time they get to work, things have gotten out of hand. And we could have saved a lot of money if we screen people, found it at an early stage, and helped them out at that stage. So the professor I talked about in Hereford, one of her focuses, she is also Ghanaian, and one of the things she's doing is that she wants to create that consciousness and create the avenue where we will come to the realization that this thing is needed and this thing has to be done through research. So as we put the evidence-based findings out there, then we will be able to communicate to people in power that, no, this thing needs your attention. And that is how we will be able to make changes. If you compare it to the situation in this country, they have the national screening programs for most of the cancers. So we're able to diagnose and get cancer patients at an early stage and help them out. And sometimes some of the things are genetic. So talking about, let me use, for example, cancer like breast cancer, we have a subtype called triple negative breast cancer. If you look at African Americans who have their ancestry from Africa, they have a lot of these cancers. And we as Ghanaians and Africans have these cancers. So you can trace it to genetics and common ancestry in there. Now, with this triple negative breast cancers, they are very aggressive. When I talk about aggressive cancers, I mean they mostly move from where they are to other parts of the body. So maybe it's just a breast cancer, but sometimes you may find some of the nodes in the liver or something, and they are very big and their prognosis are very bad. So because we are prone to this, it's very important that we do proper screening so that we'll be able to help the patient at the early stage rather than make things get out of hand and then get to work at that time. So with the papers I did with that professor, much of it looked at those issues and ways that we can look at in addressing them. So that's a summary of what we did.
Wow, that's exciting. I mean, for those of you who may not be so enthused with research and all that, these are the implications for clinical practice. So we're talking about all these things. They inform national policies, and as you may know, now cancer is on the rise in Ghana, and as Livingstone said, we did a paper on cervical cancers and breast cancers, and for breast cancer, about 50 to 80% of the people who report usually come with stage 3 or stage 4 advanced stage of cancer, and obviously they are almost on their way to the grave, I mean, so to speak. That is unfortunate. So we need to put a lot of things in place. I mean, especially the leadership of, I mean, our healthcare system and all that. It's very important. As individuals, of course, we have our own responsibilities. So we may be talking about research, which may not be so much of an interest to you, but it tells you that cancer is everywhere. And I've been speaking to friends, cancer is everywhere. Recently, I co-authored a paper with a group of people, renowned people, titled The Prevalence and Predictive Factors of Breast Cancer Screening Among Older Ghanaian Women. We expect that when they get a bit old, I mean, screening should be something that is of importance. And we realize that only 4.5% of them have ever screened for, I mean, breast cancer. That is quite, I mean, serious, you know. So it is something that we need to really improve. And some of the things that really determine whether even those people will go for cancer screening at all were people who had at least had secondary education and above, and those who participated in club meetings. And you know, from where we're coming from, social groups like organizations, sometimes they organize meetings and as part of that, they do screening. So we can leverage on some of these things to improve our screening, to early detect them, opportunistic, as you said. So it is very insightful. Unfortunately, we might not be able to go so much into it. I'm so much interested in research, but unfortunately, because of time, I just want to read some comments and then I'll come to you for the final laps of that. So thank you very much. If you are watching us, thank you so much for your time. We apologize again for the late transmission, but you've stuck with us. Mr. Isaac for regards, and regards to MOB. David, regards again. Irene Bosman, I salute. Jenny Asenso, regards. I also see Francis Ikoko, senior man, regards to you. Evangelist Justice DeGraft Wilberforce. I see Chris Mao, big boss, I salute. I also see Joel Dia. I see Owusu and Samuel. I see Akosua Jenny Mboat in regards to you, Akosua. And then Nana Akwesi Ampofo. Okay. Okay, he was the one that asked about the mathematics and you've already answered. Irene Asante Sechi. I also see, this is just to acknowledge that, of course, we see all that you are doing or what you've put up here, and we appreciate so much. I see Okolo Tochuku, regards to you, my dear sister, or brother. I don't want to commit myself, you know. I see Prince Joseph Kakari. I see Jack Jones. Hey, Jack, how is Aberdeen? Regards, Jack. Regards to everyone, friend. I see Kwabena Josh. I see my big boss, Justice Boachiapia, the only immunovaccinologist in the whole wide world. Regards, boss. So, yeah, so, I mean, Jenny says, stone this. I mean, some fans for you. I asked Dave how he was doing. He said he's very well and very lovely. Irene said, a living stone. Evangelist Justice said, God bless you, men of God. Irene also said, Irene is trying to be serious. He's asking if you are single, but you will answer. My God. Somebody is saying great job. Another person is saying congrats on the super amazing achievement. Yeah, I mean quite a lot of comment there, but again, I want to put our program into perspective that this is the Discovery Show TDS TV, a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora. And Dr. Justice Boachiapia was our first ever guest on this program. Please visit our YouTube channel and watch him. He is actually developing some very wonderful vaccine candidates for borreliosis. He's a very wonderful man. He's played key role in this COVID vaccine development. So I mean, it tells you that we are actually interviewing people who are doing well so that it will encourage you. And that's why we've brought Livingstone here again. He's our first guest on our Facebook live feed. And he's already taken us through the US system, the scholarships, and the PhD master's opportunities available. And we really appreciate him for that. Livingstone, just before we conclude, come to the final laps of that, we just want to find out how do you balance your life? I mean, I know you. How do you balance your spiritual life? I mean, your religious side, your social life, your academics. You are very studious, very time conscious and all that. How do you balance all that and still are able to achieve all the feats you've achieved so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think life presents at any point in time 1,001 things to do. So all that I do is just to take it one thing at a time. I mean, it's thing really. I mean, if I'm studying, I'm studying. If I'm going to church, if I'm reading the Bible, that is what I'm doing. And make sure that I plan whatever I do. So I make sure that every day, one of the things I do very in the morning is to plan my day. Make sure that I have everything written down and try as much as possible to achieve it. So just to tie into the intentionality I talked about, so I have to be intentional in whatever I do. That is very important to me. And of course, the grace of God keeps me going every time. I can't say for the life of me that whatever I've done is just solely by strength and discipline. That is very important. The discipline part is important, but the grace of God is key.
Excellent. Excellent. I see Dr. Yakubu Salifu here. Big boss, I salute. In fact, this is he is someone who is also into palliative care. We spoke about cancers not long ago, and he has almost always been championing the need for palliative care in Ghana. So I'm sure he'll be very happy that even though he may have missed what we spoke about, but he will be excited that on this platform we're also talking about cancers in Ghana, treatment, management, palliative care, and all that. So regards, Dr. Yakubu Salifu. Solid. And don't forget, I've shared about 3 links to PhDs and scholarships on this platform. If you may not need it, please find someone who is in that field and may need it. One of them, actually expires, or the deadline is 27th of April, which is about 16 days, or slightly over 2 weeks from now. So please share with other people. Livingstone, we are just coming to the final laps of it, and I have enjoyed the interview, even though I know you personally, but I have enjoyed, I've been motivated. You said be purposeful and be intentional, and I think these are very important. Once you are aware of what you want to achieve, then obviously you need to find the right steps that will direct you there. And of course, get linked up with those who can help you. Livingstone has been generous enough. I'll drop his email in the link as well. If you want to contact him, he's happy. If you want to contact him through Messenger, Facebook Messenger, he's happy to help. And already he has been magnanimous enough to say that he's happy to review some of your documents for your application. I want to say that this show is ably produced and supported by Mr. James Kwabena Opon. You can find him on Facebook, and he spells his Kwabena Kwobena, James Kwabena Opon. You can see my face. You cannot see him. He's at the background, but he has done everything. I'm just talking. So all regards and thanks to James Kwabena Opon. I'll drop his number, my number as well. If you want to contact any of us, please do. But I want to assure you that from time to time, at least every 2 weeks, you're going to see very prominent people on this platform. It will cut across those in academia, PhD, those who are already lecturers, those who are in clinical practice, those who are in any other field you can think of. And the sole aim is to encourage you, to help you, so that you can find out the opportunities that are there, so that you can also rise together with all these people. Livingstone, in conclusion, what will you say about the PhD, the masters, the scholarship opportunities in US? If you have to summarize all you said, what will you say to people?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so people contact me on LinkedIn and through Facebook. Most of them, I don't even know them, but I'm always ready to help. Now, this is what I see. There's a pattern that I've seen, and Precious, I've spoken to you about it before. The zeal is there, the will is there, but most of the time, you tell the person what to do, the person looks at the uphill battle, the fact that the person has to study the GRE and write, and all those processes, and it's like, no, will this thing work? So sometimes initially the passion is there, but you realize that later on the passion wanes, and that's the end of story. I want to encourage you, if you want to do this, please put in everything you have into this, because to be honest with you, you will reap every ounce of energy you put into this. If you study for the GRE and do well, you will reap it. So when you look at everything that needs to be done with the application process and all that, don't be scared. It may look so difficult, but the truth of the matter is that if we are persistent and do it, definitely you will reap a very big reward, and you'll be proud of yourself that you made that decision. So for people who are here with the video later, who would want to take this route, please don't look at the work at hand. Look at what I always say, that look at the picture. So what is the bigger picture? At the end of the day, what can you achieve if you do this? That should be your motivation. And always let God take the lead in everything you do, and you'll be successful.
Wow. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. We really appreciate your time. I'm happy to read or to ask you questions. So please, if you have
very big reward. And you,
if you have any questions, please drop them in here whilst I read to him for him to answer where the need arises before he goes away. But just before that, I just want us to, before I sample the questions, I just want us to enjoy about a minute of song before we go ahead, you know.
that would be your and always.
All right, great. We are so much happy to have you. I mean, you're a great person. Like I said, I have known you for about 10 years and you've been a very wonderful person. Some people have known you for more than 10 years and they will say the same, because I mean, I've encountered other people who have said similar things about you. And we are so much grateful that you have always had a passion to help people, to help other people rise. And I have been a witness to that. So I thank you so much for your time. I thank you so much for coming to share with us. I mean, viewers, if I have to summarize all he has gone through, he went to Prempeh College, he came to KNUST to pursue nursing, even though that wasn't the priority or what he wanted to do, but he classified that as a fortunate, feat that he did achieve. And from that, he went into public health when he didn't really know much about going into a public health that is funded in the United States. But with perseverance, with being intentional, purposeful, he was able to go into public health. And by then, when he did go into public health, MPH in the wasn't fully funded, but with a dint of hard work, he was able to secure scholarship for the rest of the program. And before he graduated from his master's, he had already published 2 papers, 4 other manuscripts under consideration or under general review. He had a PhD, fully funded one, before he even graduated, and he's now into PhD. He's focused on cancers. He's doing so well. He has a very wonderful spiritual life. He has a very wonderful social life, well balanced. Of course, it comes with challenges, but he said be purposeful and be intentional. And this is what I want us to go home or go wherever we are going with. We need to be purposeful and intentional, whatever we are doing. And he actually sought for the right information. So I want to encourage you that please link up with people who you think could be of help to the journey you want to pursue. Livingstone has already said he's happy to help you with reviewing. Some of us are available. I'll drop his email in the chat. I'll drop mine in the chat. And the other people that I promise you I'm going to bring on this platform, some of them are watching. Dr. Yakubu Salifu is a lecturer here in the United Kingdom. We have Arim Bosman, who is a diabetes specialist here in the United Kingdom. We have Dr. Chris Mao, who is also a senior lecturer in the South Africa. Big other people who may be very, 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 very helpful in our discussion. So please keep your dial locked here. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like, stream, share it so that other people can benefit from it. And we want to say thank you so much for being here, getting your data on and actually locking it up here. We really, really appreciate it. And again, I want to apologize for the late streaming because of technical hitches. And we say thank you so much. If I couldn't read your message, please forgive me, because we were slated to finish this in an hour's time, but because of the hitches, So I apologize if I wasn't able to see your name, mention your name, read your comment. Forgive me, but we will do well to stick to the time and resolve our technical hitches. Livingstone, before you go, is there any final words you want to leave us with, please?
Yeah, so just to, as an epidemiologist, one of the things that I'm interested in is people taking the COVID vaccine, and I want to add my voice to it. These COVID vaccines have been tried and tested. They've gone through several reviews. They are safe. Please take the vaccines to keep you and your family safe. It's not 666. I'm a Christian myself. It's not 666. Please, let's take it. Let's keep everybody safe and let's stay safe. Make sure that you follow the COVID-19 protocols and keep yourself and your family safe. But more importantly, if you have the chance of taking the COVID vaccine, please make sure you take it.
Thank you very much, Livingstone. On behalf of our viewers, TDS TV, James Kwabena-Opon and myself, we really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, but you decide to come here and to share what you have with us. I mean, talking about COVID vaccine, I know Dr. Boachiapia on this platform will be one of the most excited people this evening because he's been championing this on Facebook all the time. So he'll be happy to hear you say this. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you so much. And as we are just about dropping off, just enjoy this music while we drop our final messages and all that. Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you in 2 weeks' time, where we bring you another edition of the Discovery Show TDS TV. When we say TDS TV or the Discovery Show, then you say yearn to learn. So we yearn to learn all the time. We want to learn so that we can rise together. So God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Livingstone, for your time. Enjoy this music as we fall out.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you to all your viewers. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Jerusalem,